5 more minutes. Welcome aviators! Glad to see all of you back ready to consume some aviation content. If you're new to my channel, my name is Yaro and I take the mystery out of the aviation industry, so consider subscribing for more videos just like this. In this video, I'm going to explain the challenges pilots face when it comes to fatigue. Our jobs are much different than the average job or someone who works 9 to 5. So I'm going to explain to you our challenges, give you a real-world example of one of my schedules, and help you overcome fatigue. Let's get into it. So the first thing we have to understand is how pilots get their schedules. At smaller cargo or air service companies, the schedules are built manually, and pilots typically work in shifts, either 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 10 days on, 4 days off. However, at the airlines, the schedules are built by a computer. The company enters the routes that they need flown, and pilots bid for their schedules by requesting certain attributes and specific days off, and then the computer crunches all those numbers and spits out a schedule. There are crew schedulers that double check the work and do manual manipulation if necessary, but the majority of the work is done by the computer. And this is done every single month, so an airline pilot's schedule is always random. It changes from month to month, and depending on the length of your pairings, you will be working 14 to 16 days a month. That makes planning your life sometimes challenging, and pilots miss a lot of important moments, like birthdays, holidays, or hanging out with friends, because your schedules never line up. Because of this randomness in your schedule, this schedule can actually be fatiguing, and the first challenge becomes maintaining your circadian rhythm. Airlines operate nearly 24 hours a day, and there's always an airplane that needs to be flown by a pilot. For example, on one side of the country it could be midnight and the last plane is landing for the day, but on the other side of the country it's morning and the first flight of the day is getting ready to depart. You also have red-eye flights, for example Vancouver to Toronto, that fly throughout the night to be able to land in the morning. So you as a pilot could be operating any one of these combinations of flights, and you could be flipping back and forth. So you could have an AM pairing this week, which has you departing 6 AM every single day, and next week you could be operating the red-eye when you should be sleeping. Airlines try to minimize these flips when they build your schedule, but nothing is perfect, and now it's up to you to show up to work well rested. Personally, I bid for 4 to 5 day pairings because I want to get all my flying done quickly so I can spend more time at home with my family, focus on my coffee business, and of course this YouTube channel. By contract, pilots have to fly a minimum amount of hours to be able to get their full salary, typically 77.5 hours. So the faster you fly those hours, the more days you get off in a month. Therefore, my 5-day pairings can be quite heavy and fatiguing. Let's take a look at one. As you can see, each day we are flying 8 hours or more, and we don't have very long layovers. On the first day we are going Toronto, LaGuardia, back to Toronto, and then again to LaGuardia for the overnight. Second day LaGuardia, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton for the overnight. Third day Edmonton, Los Angeles, back to Edmonton. Fourth day Edmonton, Toronto, LaGuardia. And the last 5th day LaGuardia, Toronto, back to LaGuardia and back to Toronto, finishing at 9:39 local time. You might be thinking sitting in an airplane isn't overly demanding, and physically it's not, but mentally it's quite draining. We are constantly making decisions, being vigilant of airplane systems and programming the flight management computer, making periodic fuel checks, staying on top of weather, talking on the radio, and making sure to trap any errors that develop. So maintaining this level of focus and concentration for so many hours a day is quite draining, and when you have minimal time to rest, that accumulates. Now let's throw in a bunch of variables into the mix to spice things up. What if you didn't have a good night's rest because your hotel was noisy? Pilots stay in a different city in a different hotel every single night, so there's so many variables that can affect your rest. Your room could be facing the highway, or someone's having a party in the room next to you, or the bar around the corner is having karaoke night and it's echoing across the street. So many things are out of your control. Now imagine having 2 nights of bad sleep, which I've had. Now you're in day 3 out of 5 struggling just to get through another 10-hour day. You notice you're now not as focused, you're less chatty, and you need more caffeine to stay alert. and this is the beginning of fatigue. But you still have 2 days left. How are you gonna get through them? Other variables that increase fatigue are delays. If you are scheduled for a 10-hour day and you have weather, de-icing, or maintenance delays, that can easily push you past 12 hours and add to your fatigue. Now, if you don't live at your base, then you are a commuter, and that adds a whole different layer of fatigue. Pilots commute for a variety of reasons that I won't get into in this video, but it's something that you now have to keep in consideration when planning your sleep. I, for example, commute from Vancouver to Toronto, which is 5 hours. If I have an early morning departure out of Toronto, I have to commute in the day before, pay for my own hotel, and ensure I am well rested. I also need to be aware of the 3-hour time change. So if I'm waking up at 4 a.m. Toronto time, that is 1 a.m. Vancouver time. So my body thinks it's doing a night shift when the schedule says I'm doing a day flight East Coast time. And that works similar going home, where I finish a 5-day pairing at 6 p.m. Toronto time, now have to fly 5 hours home to Vancouver, finishing around 10 p.m., which means I've usually been awake for 20 hours on that day. Then it will take me a day or two to readjust back to West Coast time and get my circadian rhythm back. That's another reason why I like longer pairings, because then I have 4 to 5 days off in a row, sometimes even up to a week, to rest, readjust my body clock, and get ready for another pairing. So what are some solutions? There are several things that pilots can do to mitigate fatigue and get the proper rest. The first being discipline. Pilots need to have rock-solid discipline when it comes to sleep planning. My optimal amount of sleep is 7.5 hours to make sure that I am alert and can do my job every single day. If I get less than that, then I know that if this continues for another day or two, I could be fatigued. So when I first get my schedule for the following month, I take a look at all my pairings and make a plan. If I have an early morning pairing, which means a 6 a.m. departure, and I have to get up at 3 a.m., 2 days prior, I start to adjust my wake-up time. The first morning I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and the second morning at 5 a.m. If I don't do this, it's going to be impossible for me to fall asleep at 7:30 p.m. to get my 7.5 hours of sleep and wake up at 3 a.m. If I don't adjust my circadian rhythm, then I'll be starting the first day of the pairing having less than 6 hours of sleep and already on my way towards being fatigued. Of course, a lot depends on my day. If the first day is one 4-hour leg, then I can catch up on sleep the next night. But if it's a full 10-hour day, then that could be a problem. The same principle applies to a PM pairing or if I have to do a red eye. I start to stay up late until midnight or 1 a.m. and then sleep in, which can pose its own challenges because I have a 2-year-old at home that wakes up at 7 a.m. But that is something that you have to coordinate with your spouse. That's why having discipline is the most important thing to combat the challenges of fatigue. And this is all flying domestic when you only have to deal with a 3-hour time change. We're not even talking about the crazy things pilots have to do flying transcontinental. Let's talk about the previous problem of having 2 bad nights of sleep and what you can do to combat fatigue going into your 3rd day of flying. The first thing is to do everything in your control to give you the best possible night's sleep by using earplugs if you think it's going to be a noisy hotel, a face mask if you have bad curtains that let in a lot of light, or get the front desk to give you a new room. If all of these precautions don't work, the next thing you can do is coordinate more rest with crew scheduling. This often results in the next day's flight being delayed, but because it's illegal to fly fatigued, there's no other option. Sometimes the airline absolutely needs that next day's flight to go out on time because of connections or other factors, so what they will do is actually pull you from this pairing and call out another pilot to operate that flight. You are then rescheduled and given other flying to do to cover other gaps in coverage. None of this is punitive because it's a pilot's responsibility to make sure they are well rested so they can do their job safely. Ultimately, safety comes first, and when everyone has done their job to try to minimize fatigue and it still happens, it's up to each individual pilot to know their limit and then stay on the ground when they reach it. Another way to minimize fatigue is diet and exercise. Eating healthy food is very important to help your body overcome the effects of fatigue. Your body needs nutrients and vitamins, and your brain needs healthy calories to burn and to function properly. Food planning is therefore important, and a lot of pilots meal prep. This not only saves money, but it ensures that you eat a healthy diet. If you do choose to eat out, pick healthy restaurants and don't live your life on fast food. Exercise can also help your body combat fatigue. It's so easy to get to your hotel and veg in your bed watching Netflix. But it takes motivation to get outside or to the gym to do some exercise. As pilots, we do a lot of sitting in the flight deck, and although our brains are working, our bodies are not getting the necessary exercise. Remember, your medical is what keeps your pilot's license valid, so if you lose your medical, you could be jeopardizing your career. So I hope this video shed some light on why pilot fatigue differs from other jobs. If you have an exhausting job, let me know what you do in the comments below to combat fatigue. Smash like, check out the best tasting coffee on the go, and I'll see you in the next video.